Okay, this is the fourth video. We're looking at the fourth topic, law, justice, concepts in which his limited history had given him no cause to believe. Law and justice do not exist in Anawari. Discuss. Okay, so what we have here is we have three parts to this. We have a quote from the text, a propositional statement, and then the stem. All right. The discuss section still requires, I want you to be really clear about this, it still requires you to make an argument. It still requires you to state a case. The propositional statement is what your case is going to be focused around. Law and justice do not exist in Anawari. So if the propositional statement is what you're going to base your essay on, why do we bother having a quote? The quote is here, A, to help you, and it prompts you to a certain section of the text. Your task is to understand how these, where in the text this came from, and how it's relevant, okay, to this question, and how it might affect your essay. The very good essays will recognize that there is a subtext to this quote, and that this will have a serious effect upon the propositional statement. Now, law, justice, concepts in which his limited history had given him no cause to believe. Who is this talking about? This is talking about Karim. Okay, and it's Abdul's father, and he's saying that, well, now we're going to get our court case. We're going to finally have our voices heard. Yeah, now finally, law is going to come into effect. In the police station, yeah, we were beaten, and there's not much law. But in the international, in the public courts in the city, now all of a sudden law and justice are going to save him. We need to understand why Karim would have felt that way, and why people in general would feel like that's really important to feel that way. Okay, so let's keep that in mind as we go through. Law and justice do not exist. So there are two things here, law and justice. So that means you need to discuss both. You need to discuss both law and justice. It's inexcusable to just discuss one of these. Let's have a look at law. So why would Karim have no reason to believe that the law existed, and B, still really want the law to have an effect upon his life? Well, let's have a look. The law is supposed to protect, isn't it? Yeah. But the Anawarians understand that their lives are worthless, and that their deaths would be no great tragedy. Yeah, and that they, the horses are worth more than they are, right? And so the idea that the law is somehow protecting them is nonsense, right? But why would he really, want to believe in the law? Because otherwise, it's mostly hopeless. Yeah, if the law isn't there to protect them, then they have no hope of escaping Anawari, which is devastating, because they're very successful, at least at the beginning of the book, right? So we need to, he needs to balance that. He needs to figure that out. Yeah. Let's have a look at justice for a second. Okay. So, so if we're saying that, their lives are worthless, but if they don't believe in it, then they'll be hopeless. What do we mean by justice? By justice, we mean that, the consequences will be appropriate. Okay? Yeah? So let's have a look at how that works in the text, right? If we think about putting people in a trap, yeah? What is this trap? This is a trap of justice. This is a trap that says, hey, I know that if I give the police the opportunity to apply the hammer of justice upon you, they're going to take everything you have, right? So it's to do with, I suppose, appropriation of funds, right? Yeah. So it's an excuse. Justice is an excuse to do what you need to do to be corrupt. All right, so let's have a look at another side of it when we talk about consequences. So we might talk about like human rights. So if people are abusing human rights, that there'll be appropriate consequences to that. But that's not seen anywhere in the text. From international agencies to local agencies to political agencies. None of these organisations ever really feel the consequences of their actions, right? Okay, so let's think how we connect the appropriate consequences with this feeling of law, and then this the no cause to believe, I guess. So if there is no cause for appropriate consequences, and there's no protection, then there is no escape. Anawari. Okay. There's no escape from Anawari. Yeah? So we say that, justice and law do not exist because there's no escape from Anawari. There's no incentive for people to assist with law and justice because there is this disequity between, the rich and the poor, the powerful and the weak. Okay. So I'll leave you there. You can answer the questions below and make your comments.